Welcome back guys to my brand new tutorial. In today's video we're going to add a ability to register, log in and log out users in our Spotify MP3 player clone using Django and Python. Alright, so in the previous video we added a functionality to play our songs and we actually played them inside of our browser. Now I want to actually create a users so we can later on add playlists and the Spotify clone doesn't actually looks like this, like you don't see a song at the home page and press the play button. Yeah, that's not how it works. So we're going to add a, instead of this play button, later on we will add a add to playlist button so we can so users can add their songs to the playlists. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is create a HTML template so we can actually display that forms we're going to create to register the users. So let's just go inside of our templates and then main directory and create a new file called register_user.html. Now I'm calling, you'll see I'll call every view or HTML file or URL register_user. That is because I don't want Django to misunderstand if I want to call the view or HTML file or Django built-in functions. So that's why I'll for example call login_user. So let's get that out of the way and write the HTML template. So the first thing I want you to do is type this HTML file starting document and then just change the title, for example, to register today and the exclamation mark. So now we want to create a form that will that users can type their information about themselves in and register themselves on our website. So we can actually create a new file called forms.py and then create a form. But I don't want to do that because I showed that in my beginner's guide. I want to show you the method using only HTML to grab the information from the form. So let's just do that. So we can call a form, and it's easier, and using the HTML it is easier to style that form. So that's why I'm using that. So let's just call form right here and define our post method. We don't need this section. Now what we need inside of this, we first of all need to use a CSRF token so we can actually prevent our form from getting hacked and stealing information from that. So, and also we're going to get an error if we doesn't put that in. So let's just put our curly brackets and these 2 percentage signs, and inside of that we want to just type CSRF_token, and that is on everything we need to prevent from hacking our form. So now to create the functionality so user can actually type the information about themselves, we need a input tag inside of the HTML so they can type the information in our form. So just go inside of our form actually and type input right here, and we already see this. So we can actually type right here a placeholder and we'll type a username. Alright, and also I will add a required field so user can know this is a required field and actually he needs to type something or else he cannot pass this form to our website. So this is the first field. We now actually need 2 more fields, and those are password 1 and password 2. Now password 1 is the password they're going to use to log in the other time they're going to go inside of our website, and the password 2 is just the confirmation password they will type, so yeah, they don't misspell one word one letter and they don't know the password anymore. So that's why we're going just to make 2 password fields so they can match and help user not miss a letter or word. So I will copy this because it is the same thing. Just instead of this text, you just want to type a password for the type. So the HTML actually converts this into the password. And for the placeholder, you want to type here a password with 2s, and also the confirm password, and I'll just uppercase this U here. And I think, yeah, and also we need a button so the user can submit this form, and let's just add that. So button with a type of submit, and just type register here, and that is everything we need. So we got our username, users should type the password, and then to confirm that password so they don't misspell something. Now also we need to add a name field so we can actually access our HTML data inside of our views.py, so we can actually get the data that user submitted. We get it using that name parameter inside of the input tab or tag. So we just type here name, and for this first I'll just type username, and also we can copy this because it is the same, just change the text. And for this I'll call password, and this one I will call password 2. So this is just password, this is password 2. Alright, so once you made our HTML template, now we also want to go inside of our views.py so we can create a functionality to grab the data and also create a new user, and later on they can log in back again to our website. So first thing we want to do is import two things, and those are just from django.contrib.auth import authenticate and also login. And also we will need a user model from the Django so we can create a user inside of our database. So that is just from django.contrib.auth.models import, and then the user model. And that is the only thing we need for this register, and also login and logout. Alright, so we imported things we need. Now we want to create a view register underscore user to create the functionality to grab that data from the form and also create the user. So now let's just create a new function called register underscore user, and we always want to pass the request. Alright, and now so we got this form, and you see this method that is post. Now what does it mean? It means when user clicks a submit button right here, they're submitting data to our server. So we want to grab that information from the server and do something with it. So first of all we need to check if that method is post. So if they are posting data, we want to get it. You can't get the data if it isn't posted, right? So let's just do that. So if method request under dot method equals post, post in quotation marks, we want to grab that data. So how to do that? You want to type username and then request dot post and this squarely brackets, and inside of them type the name we used here. So the name of this input tag, type that inside of our this variable. So now if you're coming from other tutorials, you've probably seen someone is doing this right here. Instead of this squarely brackets, he's using this get and then this normal brackets. So right here you have probably seen this. So what is the difference? The difference is this one, so this I'm using, expects the user is submitting the username, so it will give us a key error. And for this one, the user doesn't actually need to pass anything, and if he doesn't pass anything, this will return none instead. So this returns error if it isn't found, and this one returns a none if it isn't found. So that is the only difference. So you would use this one if you want to return something to the user if he doesn't pass anything. Since I'm using this required thing inside of our inputs tag, we don't need to use this get thing. So because the user needs to pass something, so we don't need it. Now, if I explain it correctly, we can now type a password, so we can get our password, and that is the same thing, so request.post, and then password right here. And we can copy this again, call this password 2, and also this one password 2. Alright, so once we got our data from our name fields instead of our input tags in our form, now we want to actually check this data if it is valid or not. So if we would have used the forms.py file I talked about in my beginner's guide and at the start of this tutorial, we could just type if form.isValid and then this brackets, and we would check everything we need, and we wouldn't have to type this manually. But since we didn't use this form thing inside of our forms.py, now we need to do that manually. It is not really complicated, you will see. It's like 5 lines of code, so let's just do that. So the first validation we want to check is if this password thing is equal to password 2. So if those 2 passwords match, we want to save them. So now, how to do that? You want to type if password is not equal to password 2. And now, if those 2 passwords are not the same, we want to redirect the user to our page and display something to him, like the passwords didn't match or something. Now, later on, when we add Bootstrap, we'll also add a messages. The Django has its own messages thing where the messages can pop up on the screen. But now I won't add that since we're not still styling the website, we're just working on functionality. So I'll just print the things so user can actually know, or in the console. So let's just print him the passwords didn't match. Alright, so once we print that, we also want to redirect the user again to that register page so he can actually again type the data. So return redirect and then to our register underscore user function. And we need to also import this redirect from the shortcuts. Alright, and that is it. Alright, so we checked if the passwords are not the same. Now we want to check if the user already exists in our database. So to check that, we want to type if user.objects.filter and then username equals username dot exists and the brackets. Alright, so what this means, so we are checking if the user we imported right here from the Django models is, we are filtering first of all through him if the username from the database already exists from our posted data. So for example, I already have a admin user I created at the start of this project in our terminal, and if for example I want again to type admin, it wouldn't allow me to using this. So this exists, just checks if it exists in the database. So that's the only thing we're checking right here. And now also we want to print, for example, username already taken exclamation mark. And again we want to return the redirect to our register user view. Alright, so we validated all of the data. Now we want to actually create the user itself. So how to do that? We want to use a try method just to bypass any other errors we could get. So for example, someone actually bypasses this required field inside of our HTML somehow, and we just want to try to create the user without that. And if it doesn't work, we want to raise an error. So let's just try to user is equal to this user we imported here dot objects dot create. So we are creating him using the username we posted here, so this username, and also the password the client using our website passes, so password equals password. And once we created the user, now we want to save him to the database, so you actually need to save it. You need to save it so the Django actually saves it, right? And now I also want to log in the user right away. So a lot of the old websites, when someone registers, they also require the registered user to log in again. So I don't like to do that, since if the user typed the registered data, you want him to register automatically, right? You don't want to type again the same data you just typed 5 seconds ago. So I'm going to redirect. I'm going to log in the user right away. So to do that, you want to type login, and then request and user also, and that's done. I think. I don't know why in the older websites didn't do this. It is just 1 or 2 lines of code, and this is the login we imported from our Django contrib auth. And now we also want to redirect, return redirect to the home page. I called it index, I think. Let me check. Okay, yeah, I called it index. And also I will print in our terminal console successfully registered with 3 exclamation marks. And also we want to see if there is an error. Actually, we want to print it, so except exception as e, and then print we need to use a f string error, and then display it right here. And we also want to redirect to the index page. I'll redirect to the register underscore user. Yeah, that is better. So I think we did everything inside of our views.py. Oh yeah, I forgot. We also need to return the render, or actually return the template. So we type request here. We type where the file is located, so it's main/register user.html, and for the context we don't need anything, so yeah, that is it. So in the URLs we also want to create an URL, so we can copy this and just type here register underscore user and then slash at the end, as I said always, and you just change these 2 data, so our view is called register underscore user, you see it right here, and name is registered user, so we can redirect to that URL and also use it later on in our templates to redirect users. So now we can actually check this by going inside of our website and just typing here register underscore user, right? And now we see this ugly looking form, but as I said, we will style it later on. So we can add a new username called subscribe, for example. The password, I'll type the normal password, yeah. Alright, and we created the user. So now we can actually check that by going inside of our admin dashboard and go to this users thing in the authentication and authorization. So if you click here, now you want to actually again log in as admin here, admin, and the password should be this one. That's it. We created the subscribe new user, and you see when we actually created the user, it asked me to type the admin password again, and that is because I use that login thing. So where is our views? Okay, so I use that login thing to actually log in the user, and it automatically logged out the admin user. So that is why I need to again pass that information about my admin user. Alright, we created a register user. Now we want to log in the user. So we'll create first of all the HTML file called login underscore user.html. And now I'll copy everything from here. Now I said I like to copy things, but this is just HTML and the functionality is the same literally. So yeah, I'm just going to copy this. And we don't need this confirm password since the user is already created. He just wants to log in, so why would you type the password 2 times, right? So instead of this register, you just want to type login today. First of all, login today, and then login for the submission. So if we save this, we want to go inside of our views.py and create a new function called login, or sorry, not indented. We want to create a new function login underscore user and always pass the request thing. Alright, so now same as this register user, we want to check if the request.method is post. So again, if the data is posted, we want to get it and then do something with it. So again, we want to do if request.method equals post. So if it equals post, again, we want to get this 2 fields. So this username and password we got from here. So again, name, you want to pass this name function, or sorry, field in the input tag in our HTML file, so the Django can get that information from that name field. Alright, so we got these 2 things. Now we want to authenticate to see if it already exists in the database. So how to do that? You want to type user equals authenticate, and then what you want to authenticate. You want to authenticate first of all request, and then you want to check the database looking for that username and also the password. So username equals username and also password equals password. Alright, so once we looped through the database to see if this user exists with this username and this password, now we want to actually see if it is not none. So if it does exist inside of our database, we want to log in him. So let's just do that. So if user is not none, so if user is not none, so if he actually exists, we want to do something, and that something is just login using the request and also that user right here. So once we logged in the user, we can actually print this we can actually print that it is successful and redirect to the index page so he can enjoy our music. So successfully logged in. And else, if he actually exists or actually doesn't exist in the database, we want to print wrong credentials. Yeah, I think it is spelled like that, I don't know. And then return redirect to our login underscore user function. And the last thing we want to check if this request.method is get, so just return the render. And yeah, instead of this register user, we want to type login underscore user. And now we want to also pass the URL to our login underscore user. Alright, so let's check everything again. So let's register again the user. So username will be a team, for example. Password, just type password you want, and then confirm that password. And if we click register right here, okay, it should, okay, successfully registered, okay. This error is because I tried to do something, but I forgot the password to the subscribed user. And let's just see. So if I go again inside of our admin, if we refresh this page, we should again see that login information. So yeah, you see it right here. you're authenticated as team. So you see it actually worked when we register the first time. The login actually works. So now let's again go to login user and try to log in as admin here. So login as admin here on our HTML page. So for the password, again, type your password, and we logged in. Let's refresh the page and we should see our users again. Okay, we see them right here. Alright, and the last thing we want to do in this video is actually log out the user. So to do that, we want to create a new function called logout and then pass the request right here. And this is the easiest of them all. You just want to, from this Django contrib auth, also import logout. And just type logout here. And then what you want to log out is request. And that is just it. You don't need to pass anything. You can, for example, print the successfully right here. Successfully logged out. We can print that and also return to index. Sorry, right here. So we don't need a template. Sorry, I will not call this logout. I'll call this logout user. So we don't need a template for logging out, since the only thing you want to do is tap a button or go to the URL called /logout user. So let's just do that. I'll copy this, keep it here from now, and just pass it right here. So we have a lot of copy pasting here, since everything is the same really. We can just type here logout user and we should log out ourselves. It looks like it didn't do anything, but if we check here, successfully logged out, and if we try to refresh this page, we should see again the popped up login again to the admin page thing. That's right. If you like this video, make sure to check out the pinned comment of this video. I made you a free PDF guide on how to help you pass the beginning stage and escape the tutorial hell. And also, I have got another great video right here on the screen. Make sure to check it out, and I'll see you in that one.